In the heart of Alabama, where quiet nights are broken only by the sound of crickets, a small town tragedy changed everything. On a warm summer evening in 1978, the McAllister family's seemingly perfect world fell apart. What began as an ordinary day ended with a shocking disappearance, and over 4 decades later, the case still remains unsolved. Tonight, we take a journey into the haunting mystery of the McAllister family, a story that unravels slowly and softly, just like the passing of time in Clanton, Alabama. But as we explore, one question lingers: how does a child vanish without a trace? This is Whispered Crimes, where we uncover chilling truths in the most soothing way. The year was 1978. America was navigating a shifting cultural landscape. Disco music dominated the airwaves, the Cold War simmered in the background, and small towns like Clanton, Alabama felt worlds away from the chaos. Clanton was a quiet place, nestled amidst rolling hills and endless cotton fields. With just over 8,000 residents, it was the kind of town where everyone knew everyone. Crime was rare, and the most exciting gossip usually involved high school football games or church bake sales. But that summer, something happened that would shatter the town's sense of safety forever. The McAllisters were a quintessential family of the time. Robert McAllister, a skilled mechanic, was known for his friendly demeanor and willingness to help a neighbor in need. Mary, his wife, was deeply involved in the local church, where she taught Sunday school and organized community events. And then there was Abigail, their only child. At just 10 years old, she was the apple of her parents' eye. Abigail was a bright, curious, and cheerful girl with a love for singing and drawing. Her red bicycle, always parked near the front porch, was a familiar sight in the neighborhood. But in July of that year, the McAllisters' idyllic life took a tragic turn, and Clanton, Alabama, would never forget it. To stretch endlessly, with children playing in backyards and families enjoying cookouts. Mary had spent the morning running errands, picking up groceries and a few small gifts for Abigail's upcoming birthday. Robert was busy in his garage, repairing a neighbor's car. Abigail, as usual, was outside, riding her bike and playing with the neighborhood kids. As evening approached, Mary called out for Abigail to come in for dinner. The smell of fried chicken and cornbread wafted from the kitchen as the sun cast long shadows over the yard. But when Mary stepped outside, she realized Abigail wasn't there. Her red bike leaned against the fence, untouched, and her shoes were still neatly placed on the porch. At first, Mary and Robert assumed Abigail had gone to a neighbor's house. But as the minutes ticked by and no one had seen her, panic began to set in. Robert grabbed a flashlight and began searching the nearby woods, calling her name. Neighbors joined in, scouring every corner of the block. But Abigail was nowhere to be found. Subtle sound effect, distant shouting, footsteps crunching on gravel. By nightfall, the police were called. Officers canvassed the neighborhood, questioning everyone about the last time they'd seen Abigail. The search extended into the early hours of the morning, but no trace of her could be found. The once peaceful night in Clanton was now filled with the wails of sirens and the hum of flashlights scanning the dark woods. Abigail McAllister had disappeared without a trace. The investigation begins. The days following Abigail's disappearance were a blur of frantic searches, desperate prayers, and unanswered questions. The police set up a command post near the McAllister home, and volunteers from neighboring towns joined the effort. Flyers with Abigail's picture were posted on every telephone pole and shop window in Clanton. But as days turned into weeks, the investigation hit a wall. There were no witnesses, no physical evidence, and no clear motive. Abigail's bike, shoes, and belongings had been left undisturbed. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Theories began to emerge. Some locals believed a stranger passing through town had taken her. A few reported seeing a suspicious man in a pickup truck near the McAllister's street earlier that week. Others pointed fingers closer to home, suggesting that someone in the community might have been involved. But without evidence, these theories remained just that, rumors. And then there was Abigail's diary. While searching the McAllister home for clues, police found a small notebook hidden under her bed. Most of it was filled with doodles and innocent musings about school and friends. But one entry stood out. "There's a man watching me from the street again. He waves sometimes. I don't think Mommy sees him." This chilling detail raised more questions than answers. Who was the man Abigail mentioned? Why hadn't anyone else noticed him? And could he have been connected to her disappearance? Clanton's lingering shadows. As the years passed, the McAllisters' lives were forever changed. Mary and Robert withdrew from public life, their once bustling home now eerily quiet. Robert sold his garage and took up work in a nearby town, while Mary stopped attending church altogether. They clung to hope, but it was clear the weight of Abigail's disappearance had fractured their spirits. Meanwhile, Clanton became a town haunted by its past. People locked their doors at night, and parents kept a closer eye on their children. The case faded from the headlines, but it was never forgotten. Occasionally, a lead would surface. A supposed sighting of Abigail at a diner in Mississippi, a mysterious letter sent to the sheriff's office, but none of these leads ever panned out. Decades later, retired police officers and local historians still talk about the case. Some believe the answer lies within the town, hidden by silence and fear. Others think Abigail was taken far away, her fate sealed long ago. But without new evidence, the truth remains out of reach. Reflections and theories. What makes the McAllister case so haunting is its lack of closure. In small towns like Clanton, where life moves slowly and everyone knows each other, the idea of an unsolved disappearance feels almost unbearable. Was Abigail taken by a stranger, or was the man she wrote about in her diary someone she knew, a neighbor, a family friend? These are the questions that have kept Clanton residents awake at night for over 40 years. Perhaps one day, advances in technology or a long-buried confession will bring answers. Until then, Abigail's story serves as a chilling reminder of how quickly life can change. What do you think happened that summer night in 1978? Could someone in Clanton still hold the key to the mystery? Share your thoughts below and join me next week as we journey to Alaska to uncover another haunting tale, this time from the frozen wilderness. Thank you for joining me on Whispered Crimes, where we explore the darkest corners of history with a soft and steady voice. Good night.